Hey there everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com with the Samsung Galaxy S5. We've gotten to take a very quick look at it, which we bring to you now. This is probably our favorite Galaxy S phone yet, and it's a good thing because it's the newest. So here it is, available in 4 colors, white, gold, blue, and black. They have fancy names, but that's what we're going to call them. 5.1-inch Super AMOLED display at 1080p, no crazy 2K display resolution or anything. This thing is waterproof. They've basically taken what we liked in the Galaxy S4 Active. That's why we have a door over the USB port there. But it's waterproof, so you can get it wet. You can get it a little dusty, right? Really, really nice. I like this display. I like what Samsung has done with the UI. I dare say it, I almost like TouchWiz. It's not bad. Things have really taken a turn for the flat. App icons are still app icons, right? Those haven't changed, and that's a good thing. See, Samsung still has a whole bunch of apps on here, S Health, S Voice, all the S features that we've come to know and love, or not use, depending on which way you roll. Let's look at the settings menu here. Here's where it's really gone flat. I like this a lot. I really do like these buttons. It's a big, long list, but it's easy to get through. Now, there's the finger scanner. We're not calling it a fingerprint scanner. We're calling it a finger scanner, and it actually works pretty well. Walk you through it here real quick. You will set it up to scan your finger, and you can use that to unlock the phone. You can use it to pay for things. They're working with PayPal for this. And registering your fingerprint is that easy. You just swipe it. You start from just above the home button, swipe down over the home button, and then you can kill them out if you don't want them. Very easy to do and easy to unlock your phone. Let's take a look at the quick settings here, and you can see also very flat. There's a whole lot going on there. There are 20 options there, so Samsung has not slowed down with that at all. Here's the cool private mode, so you get a number of things you can hide in here. You can hide pictures, you can hide documents, whatever you need to. You hide it there, and then you get secondary security, right? So you have to unlock the phone a second time to get to those things. So that's a nice thing. That's a nice feature. I like that a lot. Take a look at the camera. Samsung, rightfully so, is very proud of this camera. It's always been very proud of its cameras. The big thing here is real-time HDR and very quick focus. They say it can focus on a shot within 0.3 seconds, depending on lighting, but it is absolutely very fast. Real-time HDR is kind of interesting. You get a preview. Here's the heart rate monitor. So this is actually really cool. You stick your finger up against the flash on the back of the phone, and it will measure your heart rate. You know what? It works pretty well and is kind of depressing at the same time. I need to go exercise. While we're here, let's go look at, the weather. So we are here in Barcelona, which is why everything's in a metric and Celsius, and honestly I have no idea what that temperature is. I think it's not terribly warm, but again, very attractive UI. Here it is next to the old Galaxy S4, and you can really see the difference. The matte soft touch back is so nice on this. I can't say enough about that, especially compared to the old glossy plastic. A couple other colors. There's the black and the gold up next to the blue again. Really, really nicely done. I really like what Samsung has done here. There's the white version. I'm a little worried about how dirty that might get. We do have some case options. Here's a wallet case, a whole bunch of cool designs. So there you go, folks. A very, very quick look at the brand new Galaxy S5 from Samsung here in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress. See ya.
This coverage of MWC is brought to you by Bitdefender Mobile Security. The next flagship Samsung Galaxy S device is finally here, and we have your first look at it. Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And here is your first look at the Samsung Galaxy S5. When it comes to design, we have the same plastic build that we already know and either love or hate from Samsung's devices. But now the back has soft touch material, and it is better than glossy plastic, as many people will posit, but it may or may not be better than the faux leather that we've had on the Galaxy Note 3. In the end, it still feels pretty nice in the hand, and those small perforations on the back, though it will be your opinion of whether or not those look good, do help a little bit with the feel. The shape of this phone is very similar to the Galaxy S4, however we do have much flatter sides and also the more rounded corners that were reminiscent of the Galaxy Note 3. As far as the button layout goes, you do have an added twist here that the home button now includes a fingerprint scanner underneath that layer, and also the menu button has been replaced by a recent apps button. As far as the feel in the hand goes, we are dealing with a 5.1-inch display here, so the phone is just a little bit bigger all the way around than the Galaxy S4. We are dealing with a slightly larger screen here at 5.1 inches, but it is a 1080p display despite rumors of even more resolution being available on the S5. As far as the quality goes, however, the AMOLED screen on the S5 is still very great and is very reminiscent of the Galaxy S4 from last year. Both perform beautifully with highly vibrant colors, and they might be perhaps oversaturated at times, but in the end, the display is still very enjoyable. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, we've been unable to confirm exactly which SoC is going to appear in the Galaxy S5, but what we do know is it's a quad-core 2.5 GHz processor that should bring a lot of boosts in performance. So stay tuned for an annotation that will confirm which processing package will be found in here. As far as hardware goes, we do see Samsung return to the general trope that they have of adding in basically everything but the kitchen sink. We'll start off with the 16 or 32 gigabytes of onboard storage that can be bolstered by a micro SD card slot. As far as the battery goes, a 2800 milliamp hour removable battery is available, which its capacity may not be a large leap for Samsung, but they did look to give great power saving options. One in particular is an ultra power saving option, which not only gives you a very minimalistic home screen, but also makes everything completely grayscale. All the bits and pieces that were originally introduced in the Galaxy S4 do come back here on the Galaxy S5, but there are some new and very specific additions that we will go through, and the first one that was already mentioned is the fingerprint scanner. Under that home button is a fingerprint scanner that allows you to swipe a finger down in order to unlock the phone, but after that you do still have to turn on the phone and then swipe your finger in order to get into your phone. The other very interesting addition in the Galaxy S5 is the inclusion of a heart rate monitor, which is located right below the camera optics on the back. Essentially what happens is you can open up S Health, start the heart rate monitor, and when you lay a finger on top of the unit, it will read your heart rate and display it for you. It is good for all of those health fanatics out there, but is also a bit questionable in terms of whether or not it's going to be ultimately useful for everybody. Perhaps the biggest development here is the inclusion of an ISOCELL 16 megapixel sensor camera. Now, this camera is capable of some great shots, as Samsung claims, and as far as the video capabilities go, 4K recording is available, but it is limited at 5 minutes because of the sheer size of the files. Now, the camera app has been redone, and it is very settings-centric, as when you hit the settings button, you'll see a lot of different settings for all of the different tweaks you can make to your smartphone photography. A few new modes are available now as well, like a selective focus shooting mode, and also full HDR, live HDR rather, that will allow you to get some really nice photos. And finally, we make it over to software, and if you were looking for a very big update to the TouchWiz UI, due to the teasers that were coming out very recently for the Unpacked event, you might be a little disappointed. After all, the very things that make TouchWiz, well, TouchWiz, have remained largely the same, and it might be hard to tell what really is different. Well, the toggles in the notification drop-down are now similar to the ones that were found in the Note Pro tablet series, as everything is comprised of circles. The same goes for the settings pages. As far as multitasking goes, it does take on a somewhat different approach now that the menu button has been replaced with a recent apps button. You will be able to get some simple multitasking done by just using that button to go in and out of apps. As far as the home screens go, it is largely the same experience, but perhaps taking a page out of stock Android's book, the My Magazine UI has been brought to the forefront and is now a second screen that you are able to swipe to from the right. Ultimately, if you were looking for an upheaval of the general TouchWiz UI, you probably aren't getting it here in the Galaxy S5. However, all of the features that were introduced in previous Galaxy S devices and even Note devices do make it over here, and should provide a very full-featured experience. And so, there you have it for this first look at the Samsung Galaxy S5. Much like Samsung has done with previous Galaxy devices, they're really looking to put as much as they can into this one phone. Thankfully, it is put into a screen that is very enjoyable to use, and after that, it does pack a lot of power with that new processing package. In the end, whether or not all of the features are useful for you is something you're going to have to find out when this phone comes out onto the market. Well, until then, stay tuned to Android Authority for all of the best coverage from the Mobile World Congress here in Barcelona, Spain.
Hey, what is up guys, I'm KBHD here, and this is the long talked about Samsung Galaxy S5. So after the presentation of all its new features, I got to spend about an hour of quality time with this new phone, so here are my honest first impressions of all this stuff. So first of all, the new specs, since you can't really avoid them, it has a 2.5 gigahertz quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, LTE, and 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. Nothing too insane under the hood here, but definitely in the top tier. This is a high-end flagship phone. So on the front, it's rocking a slightly larger 5.1-inch 1080p AMOLED display, just a bit bigger than the 5.0-inch Galaxy S4, and that right there is the symbol for pretty much everything else about this phone. It's just slightly bumped up from the Samsung Galaxy S4 in a lot of ways. But one way it definitely did surprise is the build material. So the back of this phone, as predicted, feels a lot like the soft touch on the back of the Note 3, but without the leather stitching on the edges. But then for some reason they added this unsightly bumpiness to it, like the dimples on the back, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the original Nexus 7, plus some sort of golf ball hybrid going on. It's weird. I can't say I'm a fan of it right now. But anyway, there are 4 colors: the black with the black front, the white, which has white bezels, the blue, which I guess is the least bad looking of the bunch, I guess, and it has black bezels, and then there's also the gold, which I like to call the Band-Aid edition. Anyway, at least the build of this guy has a tiny bit of reasoning behind it. Despite its removable back and totally expandable storage and totally swappable 2800 mAh battery, the Galaxy S4 is still IP67 certified now. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to exactly what IP67 means, but basically the 6 means it's totally dust-proof no matter how small the grain, and the 7 means it's water-resistant, but not waterproof. Definitely a difference there. But what's cool is this doesn't seem to have a huge effect on the build of the phone. Like I said, the back is still removable. It only leaves me worried about that speaker quality, so we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, I think I played with this phone for maybe 15 minutes before I actually noticed that the front buttons, the layout has changed. So now it's a back, home, and multitasking button. No more capacitive menu button. All the menu buttons will be in software now on the screen. And of course, this carries over into Samsung's other tablets as well, so I guess it shouldn't really be much of a surprise. And speaking of buttons, in a very Apple-inspired move, Samsung went ahead and put a fingerprint sensor in the home button. So this one you need to swipe to use, and basically once it's set up, it can be used to log into certain secure apps like PayPal or even unlocking the phone itself. Surprise. I kind of wish it would go a little bit further than that. Like maybe I could log into sites in Google Chrome using my fingerprint, but you know, that kind of stuff is a while off. I did notice this new home button felt a tiny bit less clicky, a little bit less tactile than usual, like it was on the S3 or S4. Maybe it was just my unit, but hopefully it's not quite as mushy feeling when it's on retail shelves. Now, another thing they made a huge deal about is the camera on the back of this guy. So it is a slightly larger 16 megapixel sensor and a new dedicated image signal processor, so this shooter supposedly has the fastest autofocus in any smartphone, clocking in at an average of 0.3 seconds. No idea how I'm supposed to verify this, but playing with the phone, I gotta say, it definitely did feel like a quality high-end phone camera. And this is no surprise coming from Samsung, really. The Galaxy S4 had a great camera. The Galaxy Note 3 had an even better camera. It shot 4K video. And this new S5 is another step up. So 16 megapixels, obviously. The photos are high res. It takes 4K video as well. And it has some awesome new HDR processing and selective focus modes and super fast burst mode that took 30 shots in probably about 3.5 seconds, and a whole bunch more features. As we know, Samsung likes to throw every feature in the world into their camera. Now, I couldn't really pixel peep and judge the actual image quality from the time I spent with it, but I can guarantee you that this is something that we'll be taking a much deeper look at in the full review. But taking a look around the back again, you might have noticed some other weird-looking things below that camera lens. One of them, yes, is a flash, but the other two make up a heart rate monitor. So, of course, you have to use freaking S-Health to take advantage of it. But, yes, you can hold your finger up to the back of this phone for a few seconds, and it'll tell you your heart rate. It'll give you a heart rate reading. Not sure how many people are actually going to use this, but that's Samsung for you. It makes for a good ad. It makes for a good demo. It's good to show off to your friends, so, of course, they built it in. So, overall, yeah, messing around with the Galaxy S4, got that feeling that performance is a little bit smoother, not faster, but smoother. So I'm getting in mind that this really feels like a Galaxy S4S. Dare I say it? Yeah, I said it. It's the Galaxy S4S. It's got a ton of minor conservative improvements, a little bit weird of a tweak to the design. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. It's obviously inspired by some other manufacturers in some places, but it's just so easy to call this a Galaxy S4 Part 2. Not that that's a bad thing. I guess people were just expecting bigger changes, that's all. TouchWiz changes especially. I mean, you can see here on top of Android 4.4, TouchWiz is looking a little bit flatter, a little bit more toned down, even though there's still some crazy stuff going on with the settings. But it's definitely still Samsung UX, and you have plenty of Samsung customizations and Samsung apps installed. You even have Samsung's My Magazine one swipe to the left of your home screen, like Google Now on a Nexus or BlinkFeed on the HTC One. So they still want you to use Samsung services and think of this as a Samsung phone. And I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. So that's my first impressions of the Galaxy S5. Of course, there's much more new stuff from Samsung. The new Gear watches, a new fitness band that looks pretty hot, actually. You can expect to see this phone advertised right alongside these new wearables because they'll probably want to make you buy them both at the same time. But I'll have much more in-depth coverage of the phone, the accessories, the wearables, and much more when it all comes out in early April, so definitely hit that subscribe button below if you don't want to miss that. Oh, and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, if you liked it. And share it with your friends. Let them know what's good with the Galaxy S5. This is the video to share with them. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.